Hey guys, welcome back to Based MMA. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman that took place yesterday at UFC 294, guys. And even though I did make a raw reaction video to UFC 294 as a whole, I still wanted to talk specifically about this matchup and just how the fight turned out, guys. And if you guys saw my video from yesterday, I felt that the Khamzat Chimaev versus Kamaru Usman fight was kind of a snoozy, man. It was kind of a snoozy after that first round, especially that second round. It seemed like both guys were a little bit more hesitant. Not a lot of output from either guy, so I felt like that second round was kind of close. I did give it to Kamaru Usman, and then the third round was also kind of close, but both guys, stepped on the gas, and I felt like Kamaru Usman was getting the better of the exchanges on the feet. And then Khamzat Chimaev was able to land a takedown, kind of control it for a little bit, but in my opinion, not enough to win that third round. So personally, I thought the fight should have gone Usman's way, or at least a draw, in my opinion, at least a draw. But watching that fight, I didn't think that Khamzat Chimaev won the fight. I didn't think he won the second or third round. I thought he had a pretty dominant first round. He did great with the grappling. Still not the best fight IQ in my opinion. I feel like he was forcing the submission way too much instead of landing more damaging strikes. But, Khamzat Chimaev looked good in that first round in my opinion. Very good in that first round. But, I mean, we already knew that Khamzat Chimaev was that good with his grappling. But I just kind of wanted to see more of his mixed martial arts. How does he mix it up with his striking? This guy hasn't fought in over a year, guys. And I really do believe that the inactivity did affect Khamzat Chimaev, man. I think he seemed a little bit more jittery out there, especially on the feet. He didn't seem that comfortable being on the feet, which is concerning, right? Because if he's not able to get a submission in the first round and he's in a 5-round fight, it could be pretty bad for somebody against Khamzat Chimaev. And I know that the winner of this fight is supposed to fight Sean Strickland for the middleweight title. But in my opinion, there's no way the UFC can justify giving Khamzat Chimaev a title shot over Dricus du Plessis after that performance he put on yesterday, man. Kamaru Usman stepped on 10 days notice, guys, to fight on a weight class that he had never fought before against an undefeated prospect with a full training camp. You know what I'm saying? Coming off 2 losses. So props to Kamaru Usman, man. I thought he looked good out there. Honestly, after that fight, Kamaru Usman did say that, he should have trusted himself more. And I could not agree more, man. He should have trusted himself more because I felt like if Kamaru Usman had a little bit more output, he would have won this fight easily, man. Easily, he did a great job in the first round of surviving, not exposing his neck and not not giving opportunities for Khamzat Chimaev to submit him. It almost looked like he was gonna submit Kamaru Usman, but Kamaru Usman slammed him. I guess slammed himself as well, which kind of did move Khamzat Chimaev out of the position. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, Khamzat Chimaev didn't look good because he broke his wrist at the end of the first round. Stop with the bullshit. Stop with the bullshit. And where's the evidence? Where's the proof? He said, I think I broke my wrist. But have we seen an x-ray? Have we seen, you know what I'm saying? Like, this happens to fighters all the time. It's not an excuse. He still didn't look great on the feet. Even before he took Kamaru Usman. I mean, I think he took him down pretty early in that first round. He still looked a bit too hesitant on the feet, man. And I feel like, he could ragdoll guys out of the top 10. But once he starts fighting these top level fighters, I think that we're starting to see a lot more holes in his game. And something that did concern me after that Gilbert Burns fight, which I kind of said, look, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. But it seems like he might have a hole in his game, which is his energy management, man. Because he comes off the bat really strong, which now fighters are going to start to be more prepared. Like they know that, okay, Khamzat Chimaev is going to start very strong, but then he quickly blows his load. You know what I'm saying? He quickly blows his load. And, Kamaru Usman didn't do anything crazy. He fought like he usually fights, maybe a little bit more hesitant, but, he still did a pretty good job of blocking shots, solid jab, which I mentioned in my breakdown that Kamaru Usman has an incredible jab, stiff jab. and right hand as well that did land on Khamzat Chimaev, especially in that second round that kind of made Khamzat Chimaev go back. Not a knockdown or anything, but clearly Kamaru Usman, in my opinion, landed the more significant strikes on the feet. And yeah, man, look, I get it. A lot of people are gonna say, well, you're just disappointed in Khamzat Chimaev because you expected so much of him. I did expect a lot from him, honestly, guys. I do expect a lot from this guy. He's looked incredible. I mean, what he did to Kevin Holland was absolutely incredible. I get it. It's Kevin Holland. And that was kind of on a short turnaround for Kevin Holland. I mean, 2-day turnaround, right? Because he was supposed to fight Daniel Rodriguez, I believe. And then Khamzat Chimaev was supposed to fight Nate Diaz. But still, man, to do that to Kevin Holland in the first 2-3 minutes of the first round is absolutely incredible and very impressive. And then, the fight with Gilbert Burns, I cut him a lot of slack because I was like, okay, Khamzat Chimaev had never fought a top opponent like Gilbert Burns. He kind of got pulled into a scrap. Gilbert Burns is very dangerous on the feet, has a lot of power. Very good on the ground as well, which Khamzat Chimaev did not want anything to do on the ground with Gilbert Burns. So, you know what I'm saying? I thought Gilbert Burns stylistically could give Khamzat Chimaev problems. So I kind of cut him some slack for that one. But I can't cut him slack for this one, man. I really can't. And sometimes I feel, guys, that the UFC wants Khamzat Chimaev to fight for the title more than Khamzat Chimaev wants to fight for the title. Like, I don't know what it is, but it seems to me like Khamzat Chimaev is not that invested in the UFC right now. He's not that invested in MMA. I don't know what it is. Like, even after he won this fight, he didn't say like, "Oh, I want Sean Strickland next." Unless I missed it, but that I could remember, he wasn't like, "I want Sean Strickland next. I need to fight for the title." You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. He seems a little bit unfocused to me. Maybe I'm tripping, but he seems a bit unfocused to me. And, you know, it's funny how things turn out because it seems like the UFC absolutely needs to make Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland for the title. That's the fight to make next, man. You don't just beat Robert Whittaker and not get a title shot for it. Especially the way Dricus du Plessis just dismantled Robert Whittaker, where he beat him in the first round, took him down, and then was able to KO him in the second round. Just absolutely incredible performance by Dricus du Plessis. It's not his fault that you guys wanted him to make a quick turnaround so he could face your poster boy and put him on a disadvantage in that fight, right? When it's the opportunity of Dricus du Plessis' life, he should not have to turn around that quickly, in my opinion, especially if he's suffering from injuries, which he did mention that he was suffering from injuries, so he needed some time off to recover. But looking at the state of the middleweight division, and, with a lot of our expectations not being met yesterday, where we thought, Khamzat Chimaev, his grappling skill, especially in the middleweight division, where we think it's a division that is not that highly skilled, it's going to give a lot of these guys problems. But I don't think that's the case, man. I don't think that's the case. And something that I touched on yesterday in my video was that I felt like Paulo Costa probably could have beat him. Honestly, I really do believe Paulo Costa could have beaten Khamzat Chimaev. I think Paulo Costa is stronger than Kamaru Usman, especially at middleweight. Paulo Costa is a natural middleweight, a natural 145er. And I think if Paulo Costa would have been able to maybe stuff the takedowns, or maybe even if he gets taken down in the first round, let's assume, right? Because Khamzat Chimaev's grappling is on another level. If Paulo Costa survives the first round and strikes against Khamzat Chimaev, I think he beats him. I think the volume striking would give somebody like Khamzat Chimaev problems because it seems like he's quickly very overwhelmed, doesn't have the best defense. And I think Paulo Costa would have beaten him, guys. I really do believe that. Paulo Costa throws very nasty body kicks. His lead hook is absolutely incredible. Probably could have caught Khamzat Chimaev and probably finished him, which I'm kind of glad that Paulo Costa pulled out, guys, because I placed a massive bet on Khamzat Chimaev to TKO Paulo Costa in the original matchup. And I think I would have lost a lot of money. I personally think I would have lost a lot of money. And I know a lot of people are saying, well, it's Kamaru Usman. He's a former champion. Guys, he stepped in on 10 days notice. That's nothing. Not even 2 weeks. That's insane to me. And he put that kind of performance against Khamzat Chimaev. Like, there's no way, even as the biggest Khamzat Chimaev fan that you could be, there's no way that you're happy about his performance. There's no way. And there's no way he deserves a title shot. And yeah, maybe stylistically he can beat Sean Strickland, but he doesn't deserve it. He absolutely does not deserve the title shot. It absolutely should be Dricus Du Plessis. And in my opinion, guys, I think that the UFC needs to show Kamaru Usman some respect and rebook this fight, make it a 5-rounder, and rebook it. Give Kamaru Usman some respect because he came in, he saved the card, he stepped in on 10 days notice to fight this undefeated monster at a weight class that he had never fought, at a weight class that he didn't properly bulked up to in Abu Dhabi. Like, huge respect to Kamaru Usman, man. And it was so heartbreaking to watch his post-fight interview with Megan Olivi where he felt like, man, like, I've lost three fights now. I need to question some things. I need to evaluate, but no, I think Kamaru Usman still has it, man. He still got it. I think he just needs his confidence back, and I think he needs a little bit more output. But he looked incredible, man. I mean, his cardio didn't look bad to me. He looked very strong. His 1-2 still amazing. And he was blocking punches pretty well. You know what I'm saying? It's not like Kamaru Usman all of a sudden is incredibly chinny, which I kind of expected him to be. But he looked incredible in my opinion. So like Kamaru Usman deserves all the respect. In my opinion, he was robbed. Actually, I don't know. Can I say that? I don't know if he was robbed, but Kamaru Usman did not lose this fight, in my opinion. Maybe you can make the argument that Kamaru Usman didn't win the fight, but there's no way he lost the fight, in my opinion. Where you can make more of an argument, a more valid argument that Khamzat Chimaev lost the fight, that he lost the second and third round, and then depending on how you score that first round, if you give it a 10-9, 10-8, which I could kind of see the argument of why you could give the first round a 10-8 because, Kamaru Usman had no offense, just complete control and domination by Khamzat Chimaev. And it wasn't like Khamzat Chimaev wasn't landing punches on the ground, and it wasn't like he wasn't attempting submissions. So I could see how you can make the argument for the first round being a 10-8, but personally I give it a 10-9. And then the second round, 10-9 for Usman. Third round, 10-9 for Usman. So I was like, okay, 29-28, Kamaru Usman. But I can't lie, when the fight was over, I knew they weren't going to give it to Kamaru Usman. But I thought, you know what? That could be a draw. Honestly, it felt like a draw to me. That's something that I said in my video yesterday, that the fight felt like a draw to me. And, I just think I'm not too impressed with Khamzat Chimaev, guys. And I really have to rethink the way I saw this guy. And, I just feel like maybe he's not committed to the game anymore. And I felt like the inactivity absolutely affected him. And, I don't know if he has a lot of things going on outside of fighting. I mean, I'm sure all fighters do, but maybe he's not. It seemed like he was a little bit more hungry a year and a half ago. He seemed like he was a little bit more invested in the sport, and it seems now like there's no way you can be proud of the performance that you put on yesterday, even if you had a broken wrist or whatever, man, because so many fighters have injuries throughout the fight and they make no excuses. So, and like I said, I haven't seen any evidence online that Khamzat Chimaev actually broke his wrist. So I'm gonna take it with a big grain of salt until it's proven. But yeah, guys, I wasn't too impressed with Khamzat Chimaev. Personally, I think he needs 1 or 2 more wins for him to fight for the title, if I'm being honest. But knowing that the UFC thinks this guy's a huge superstar, which he is, man, he is a big star. They might give him the title shot, which he does not deserve, man. He does not deserve. And even if he beats Strickland, which on paper could be an easier stylistic fight for Khamzat Chimaev, I still think there's guys in the middleweight division that might give him problems. I think a Jared Cannonier might give him problems, especially if Jared Cannonier is able to stuff the takedowns. I mean, pretty much any fighter that's able to stuff the takedowns in the middleweight division could give Khamzat Chimaev problems, man. He's not going to be able to do that, in my opinion, to Dricus Du Plessis. I think Dricus might give him problems. Actually, I think Dricus might be his hardest fight. Hot take. I think Dricus might be his hardest fight. I think Paulo Costa could have given him problems. So not too impressed with Khamzat Chimaev at all. I don't know, man. It just seems to me like he's not that invested. It seems to me like the UFC wants this guy to fight for the title more than he actually wants to fight for the title. And then with Kamaru Usman, he seemed pretty heartbroken after the fight yesterday, but I think he looks incredible, man. I think he still got it. I think he could beat up Bilal Muhammad. So I think he should go back to the welterweight division or maybe attempt, to fight in the middleweight division, man. Like we all know he didn't lose this fight. He did not lose this fight. And in my opinion, if I were Usman, I would tell the UFC, hey man, give me a shot at this guy with a full training camp. Let's make it 5 rounds, make it a main event of a UFC fight night, or putting on a pay-per-view early next year, sometime next year. The winner of that gets a proper title shot to fight the winner of Sean Strickland versus Dricus du Plessis. In my opinion, that's the correct thing to do. That's the fair thing to do. And like I said, Khamzat Chimaev didn't put the kind of performance that earns you a title shot, and he was supposed to, man. He was supposed to because he hadn't fought in the middleweight division in a long time. He had not fought anybody ranked in the middleweight division. So he needed to come out here against a short notice Usman and make a statement, man, and make a statement. So I don't want to hear any, well, it's Kamaru Usman. Yeah, but it's a Kamaru Usman on 10 days notice. A Kamaru Usman that isn't properly bulking up. A Kamaru Usman that is coming off 2 losses. So all the odds were stacked against Kamaru Usman. And in my opinion, he won the fight or at least a draw, which is embarrassing. Embarrassing for Khamzat Chimaev. But that's my take on that, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys in agreement with me that Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland is the fight to make next, guys? Please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.